Hello children. Our story today is a very well-known fairy story. I'm sure you've heard it before, but fairy stories are the sort of things that one likes to hear many times. And this one has pictures in it which I just love, so I hope you'll love it too. This is called Little Red Riding Hood. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother gave her a pot of Brussels sprout soup. "Take this to your grandmother on the other side of the woods," she said. "But remember the rules of the woods." And there is a poster on the tree saying rules of the woods. Number 1, keep to the path. Number 2, don't talk to wolves. But can you see what is hiding behind that tree? It's a wolf, I'm afraid. "I promise," said Little Red Riding Hood, and off she went. There's that wolf still there. Skippity skip, skippity skip. "Oh, what a lovely day," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood," called the woodcutter. "Good morning, woodcutter," called Little Red Riding Hood. There's the wolf hiding. Little Red Riding Hood walked deeper and deeper into the deep, dark woods. It grew darker and darker. So Little Red Riding Hood didn't see the wolf waiting for her on the path. And the wolf didn't see Little Red Riding Hood either. Little Red Riding Hood stumbled straight into the wolf. "Ow! Ah! Oof!" Poor old wolf. "What are you doing in the middle of the path?" asked Little Red Riding Hood. "I nearly spilled my grandmother's Brussels sprout soup." "Sprouts? Yuck! Wolves only eat juicy red meat." Little Red Riding Hood had forgotten the rule, don't talk to wolves. The wolf was just about to gobble up Little Red Riding Hood when he had a brilliant idea. "I'll eat Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother." "And where does dear little Granny live?" asked the wolf. "In the cottage on the other side of the woods," said Little Red Riding Hood. So through the forest the wolf ran and got to the cottage much before Little Red Riding Hood. He reached the cottage and knocked on the door. Tap, tap, tap. "Come in," called Grandmother. The wolf leapt into the room and gobbled up Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother in 2 seconds flat. Bony, but not bad," he thought. Then he pulled on her cap, jumped into bed, and waited for Little Red Riding Hood. Soon there was a knock at the door. Tap, tap, tap. "Come in," snarled the wolf as softly as he could. Little Red Riding Hood looked at her grandmother, then looked again. "Oh, Granny, what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with," said the wolf. "Oh, Granny, what big eyes you have!" "All the better to see you with," said the wolf. "Oh, Granny, what big teeth you have!" "All the better to eat you with." In one bound, the wolf was out of bed and gobbling up Little Red Riding Hood. "Delicious," he said. Then, fell fast asleep. As he slept, he snored very loudly. What's going on? Wondered the woodcutter, and you see him looking through the window. He's eaten that poor old woman, realized the woodcutter. He picked up some scissors. He snipped open the wolf's tummy, snippety snip, snippety snip. Out popped Grandmother and Little Red Riding Hood too. Quick as a flash, Little Red Riding Hood picked up some stones and piled them into the wolf's tummy. When the wolf woke up, he tried to sneak out the door, but the stones rattled and rattled and rattled inside him. Rattle, 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 rattle. Now everyone can hear me coming. I'll never catch anyone, cried the wolf. Exactly, said the woodcutter. You'll just have to eat vegetables instead, said Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf was never able to eat another person. Ugh, Brussels sprout soup. As for Little Red Riding Hood, she never ever talked to a wolf again. So the wolf has been turned into a vegetarian. That means he only can eat vegetables from now on. Now there are some very famous lines in this story, and you might like to practice them yourself. So when Little Red Riding Hood goes to see her grandmother and the wolf is in bed instead, she says, "Oh, Granny, what big ears you have." Would you like to say that? "Oh, Granny, what big ears you have." And the wolf says, "All the better to hear you with." Can you say that? All the better to hear you with. "Oh, Granny, what big eyes you have." "Oh, Granny, what big eyes you have." "All the better to see you with." All the better to see you with. "Oh, Granny, what big teeth you have." "Oh, Granny, what big teeth you have." "All the better to eat you with." All the better to eat you with. Okay, I hope you enjoyed doing that, and I hope to see you next week for another story. Bye.